Varonis has created a unique metadata framework to collect information about users and groups from Active Directory, LDAP and NIS, permissions information from file servers and SharePoint servers, audit activity, which we can collect from NAS devices, SharePoint devices, and even Windows and Unix file servers for which we have written a file system filter, so you don't need native operating system auditing, as well as classify the data based on its content. All this information is collected by our suite of 5 distinct products and presented to both administrators and end users via 2 interfaces. Data Advantage will allow you to see who's got access to any data, or conversely, which users or what data any user or group has access to. We will also be able to show you who's been using that data. So for example, if you wanted to answer the question, where did my files go? You could easily see who's been deleting or moving data out of any given directory or SharePoint site. We will also analyze the behavior and the permissions, and through our analytics engine, make recommendations on where users' access can be revoked because their actual data activity is not representative of other members in their business unit. We see generally 0% CPU, 6 to 10 megabytes of RAM, and we do not write to disk on the monitored file servers. Okay? We have a similar low footprint on Unix servers. As far as the network bandwidth, we generally deploy local collectors to the file servers. In smaller environments, we can go over a WAN with minimal bandwidth consumption. So the ability to collect our data non-intrusively, store it, pre-process it, and analyze it, and then present it to the end user with meaningful, actionable information is something that is special and unique for us.
So you're saying that it's not using any CPU time and no bandwidth, or?
I'm saying that if you look at the CPU, like in Task Manager,
sure,
open it up, you will see 0. If you look at the CPU time column, it will increment very slowly. Of course, it's not dead 0, right? It should be noted that we also have a watchdog service that says if the CPU utilization from our service is over 10% per minute or 46 meg of RAM per minute, shut it down. The users do not need to make decisions about which data is sensitive or rate the content as they're saving it. We automatically inspect the content of each file for keys that you've decided are important, such as pattern matches with the credit card information or keywords, etc. What's unique to Varonis is that the metadata about who's using, who's creating data, who has access to data, along with the sensitivity, adds much more context. For example, if I know that only one particular group creates a kind of record that I know is sensitive, I can only scan the data that's created by that group for that information, thereby reducing what might be, for other systems without that metadata, with that information, a lot of false positives. For a small customer, right, under 1,000 users, up to 5,000 users, the installation is 2 hours to a day, and you can start analyzing and remediating excess access on day 2. In large organizations, deployment may take up to a week, maybe 2 weeks to roll out the infrastructure. But as soon as we start collecting data, we can identify excessive access, so folders open to the everyone group, domain users, authenticated users, those which also contain sensitive data. So this is high-risk information, right? Information exposed to almost everyone in the company and that we've considered sensitive. We can see who's using that data. And over 4 to 6 weeks, we've accumulated enough user activity so that we can start to make pinpoint recommendations on where you can pare down access without disrupting business operations.